pack some weed or smoke some weed?
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's in line with the movie we just saw, right?
Yes. And what movie was that? Welcome to episode 4 of On the Lot. Or From the Lot. Is that it? From the Lot?
From the lot.
If you can't tell, we in the lot right now, bitches.
We in here. We on it.
And we're setting the mood. I think that Renfield was a movie that were you anticipating it? I was anticipating it a little bit. Like when I saw it, oh, Nick Cage is gonna be Dracula.
Yeah. Once the first trailer I saw, actually I think I saw it was a preview for a movie that Ann and I went to see. And yeah, once I realized in the trailer, because I realized pretty soon, like Renfield, oh, okay, this is going to be some weird take on Dracula. And then I realized Nick Cage is playing Dracula, and I'm sold. You will have my money.
We probably should have introduced our guest. Hey, this is Jasmin Toubi of the band SHEDONIST.
I'm not here.
Can you sit where the camera can see you?
No.
Okay, well, she's there, we promise.
No, I'm not.
Anyway, I'm Josh Loney, this is Will Hammond.
Hello.
It was an anticipated film. Sorry, This is a train wreck already. Fuck it. We haven't even smoked weed. I guess we did eat edibles for the movie.
We did, yeah.
So, don't blame us. Blame God for making marijuana.
And honestly, in our defense, I don't think this is exactly a movie that requires a super studious or academic take on it. Although, I mean, definitely...
if I want to give an academic take, I'm getting really stoned, to be honest. And I'm going to feel it.
Yeah, this is... it's a pretty ridiculous movie, but, I mean, I was very much entertained. For the most part, the entire time. I think there were a couple short moments where I kind of checked out, but for the most part, I was highly entertained.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on it. It's, for those who don't know, a film about Nicolas Cage as Dracula and Nicholas Hoult, who's someone whose appeal I don't understand, really. Is he a star? Is he not a star? Does he just have a great agent? Or
he's got good cheekbones.
We'll get to that. But
he does have fantastic cheekbones, I'll give the man that.
I mean, got great cheeks on top and on bottom, you know what I mean?
Boom.
But he seems to just appear in everything.
He does.
So he is the leader of this, I suppose, potential franchise.
Titular character.
Yeah, Renfield, who I'm sure in the sequel will be killing a werewolf, because I'm sure if it does well, they will make a sequel, right?
Honestly, I'm down to bring werewolves into this universe. For Nicolas Cage's.
Whenever he eats
but
bugs,
the concept...
he has superpowers.
Yeah, the bug thing was weird, but the whole concept revolved around him at narcissists' abuse, codependency meetings?
Yeah. Did they say it was codependent at first? Like at the beginning of the movie? Or was that...
Toxic relationships.
It's like drag, and it stands for something.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh.
Did I pass this at all?
Yeah, toxic relationships.
But then at the end, the final act, I feel like they refer to it as a codependency group a few times.
Yeah, or narcissist. You get some... I want sunglasses. It's bright in here. Flip the lights on, and now I'm like, shit.
You can wear them, but you gotta show them off to the camera. Yeah, get your head in there.
Oh, what is she showing off to the camera, dude? What type of podcast is this?
My glasses.
This is a movie podcast, damn it.
No, I thought the concept of Dracula's familiar at Narcissists Anonymous, or what is it? Codependency Anonymous. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of funny.
I did too.
It was a funny take on... I don't know, it feels like they brought everything into the modern world, kind of, and our modern world is so ridiculous that they didn't really have to say much about it.
No, they didn't say much
to make
about
you
it,
laugh or see that it's ridiculous. I don't know.
Maybe they just thought it would really go hand in hand.
I think that...
which I guess it kind of does.
I think that they wanted to say something about it. I don't know if they did.
I mean, they said that you should get out of your toxic
They're
relationship.
definitely trying to make eating bugs cool.
Beat your demons in the ground.
That's some weird propaganda shit that threw me off right at the beginning.
That did throw me off too.
Because it's like, can we look up?
Does he not eat bugs in Dracula?
Does he have to eat bugs? Can we look that up?
I
was
no
wondering
idea.
that because I was like, man, if I knew this, that would really make me feel better one way or the other about my opinions. Because I don't like any movie that's like, hey, in order to get our funding, we'll just try and make eating bugs cool. It's not really.
I mean, they had a
thing.
Macy's plug in there.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Macy's plug.
I mean, yeah, okay, product
Plugged
placement is
some other
normal
shit.
at this point. Is it annoying? Yes. Does it cheapen your movie? Yes. Because is it really a funny joke? Was like the joke involving Macy's that funny?
Yeah, because it's
You went
Macy's.
to Macy's to get a
rainbow sweater.
a LGBT sweater?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Hold on.
why was that
It was funny.
Well, actually, continue talking. This is going to be.
Because they were like, you need to go through this transformation, right? And he transformed into this, like,
I can't see it.
gay guy, sort of. Very effeminate man. Like, that's their representation of what the average modern man dresses like and has a rainbow apartment. Or was that just, like, him going in the absolute opposite direction of Dracula?
I don't know if I care to like even get that deep into it because it's like the whole point of this movie is to be a schlock fest. You know what I mean? I thought the worst
gory.
part of it was in some ways, in some ways it wasn't the worst part of it. In some ways it's where the moral of the story came from, which I agree with. By the way, don't be a victim.
Yeah.
Right.
Stand up for yourself.
Yeah, that's a good lesson.
Chop your demons into tiny little
It's an
pieces.
ironic lesson coming from a movie that's trying to encourage you to eat bugs, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
If that's it.
okay. So apparently in the novel, he does eat bugs.
Oh.
As Dracula promises Renfield an endless supply of lives to devour in exchange for his loyalty. But he ends up feeding flies to spiders before he eats the spiders, and he ends up eating birds. And in the novel, he does have like some
So he's graduating.
portion of Dracula's powers, right? Like he demonstrates greater strength, but apparently there's no direct correlation, and there's no like overt suggestion that it's related to him eating bugs.
Interesting.
Right.
So they made
I mean,
eating
to be
bugs.
fair,
But
a vampire's life force does come from blood.
Yeah, and then they say flies and spiders have been a part of most live-action incarnations of the character.
Interesting.
So I guess even in 1992, Bram Stoker's
Because that's the disgusting.
Tom Waits,
Yeah.
he dines on flies and maggots in 92's.
At the very least,
You know.
they hammed it up because it helped with the financing. Let's be honest.
Now, what I was going to say about what they were trying to...
By the way, this
say-
is brought to you by Coast Smokes.
Oh, yeah.
If you want Coast
I'll
Smokes.
take a coaster.
I didn't bring a fresh pack because I'm an idiot. But this is proof I actually fucking use them.
There were multiple
You like
points...
Coast Smokes, right? She's a huge fan of Coast Smokes. Everyone knows it.
Everybody knows it. Everybody knows she
All the
smokes
cool
Coast.
This chick-
bitches smoke
Everybody
Coast
knows
Smokes.
this.
This chick cannot stop talking
Yes.
about them.
If you don't know this, then you're a fucking noob.
I
Yeah,
eat,
that's a
sleep,
fact.
and shit Coast Smokes.
I felt like at multiple points during this movie that I was like, oh, this is what the movie's trying to say. And then I was like, oh no, I guess this is what the movie's actually trying to say.
Yeah.
And then it was like, wait a minute, no, I think before I think the final act they finally like tried to make it very in your face about what the point was, but I don't know, I think it spoke to a few different things throughout the movie.
You know what I...
Like it was almost like just
Took you on a ride.
yeah, it was a little disjointed in that fact.
It may
in
be
my
that
opinion.
I don't hate the narcissist or the like toxic relationship therapy group as much as I didn't like the lighting in that fucking room. It's like, oh my god, how in are we, man? We're doing that teal lighting. It's like, yeah, sick. Nicholas Winding Refn did it, and now everybody has to do it. Or you don't seem like you know what you're doing because people don't know how to make digital look cool.
So what? Okay, so I was gonna say, why do they do that? Because they just don't. know how to
It's also
really
just, you know,
replicate the fucking like flavor of tape, if you will.
I think that a lot of people, and honestly, especially young cinematographers, like the people my age who I know who do it, they suck the dick of like all these dudes from 2000, like the innovators, right? Like Michael Mann in Collateral sort of shit, right? Or like Drive with Ryan Gosling. And these are always the examples you see when they're like, here's a color palette, and it's just this like ridiculous color palette, and it's like, yeah, I mean, there are films that like Stanley Kubrick films where like there's no like extreme color palette, and they still look amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the guy knew how to use a fucking camera, and all they use is natural light. In fact, in like, for instance, Full Metal Jacket, there's no tricky lighting to make Gomer Pyle shooting himself seem more spooky, right? But it's still like well shot, well lit.
Huh. Oh, I didn't.
They just use the lights in the room.
I want to talk about the acting.
They would build the set so the lights in the room were well placed.
Fair enough. Okay, I was gonna say, man, because like Stanley Kubrick was just a fucking mastermind. It seems like with that shit, man.
Maybe it's unfair to compare to Stanley Kubrick, but my point is, it's just such a
probably
cheap,
so. I mean,
the last scene had just used that same LED light, and so it's like, dude, how many lights do you have? Can
Honestly,
you use another one?
The film looked a little cheap.
The cinematography was not particularly impressive to me, and that probably is part of why the action scenes were for me underwhelming.
Honestly, though,
but really, I blame the editing. I think the editing
there were some editing blunders
was
for
the
sure.
biggest error.
The editing, the pacing of it at points, you know, it just
right. Like how much of that is the writer? How much of that is the editor?
Well, man, I also think maybe one of the things with the editing is because of like, well, maybe this had something to do with it, but it's the movie's so graphic. Like almost like video game-esque. There's so much fake blood, right? And like so much shit going on.
Explosions of guts.
Yeah, it's like it's really over the top.
I mean, there's a character named Raimi, Sergeant Kyle Raimi.
Yeah,
that's like an obvious
nod,
right? Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if that's one of those things where it's like in order to really pull that off and to make that look halfway decent, you just have to have a lot of fucking edits, a lot of cuts. Even if they are awkward.
No, I don't, dude. Because what Sam Raimi did was use really creative and sometimes innovative techniques.
But they used,
and it was really well. It was deliberate, right? Like, dude, he's working with Peter Deming on Evil Dead 2, the guy who shot Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway.
Oh, that
the new Twin Peaks.
But they also used
like they're really good at what they do. This was not done by masters of the same.
They also use like fake blood, right? Like in Evil Dead, it wasn't.
I prefer fake blood to the CGI blood.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, because
you know what I mean. Like I get when you're.
I feel like the CGI blood in this, it's like one of those things where it's like, can you actually? I don't know if you can make all the over the top movements and choreography and the violence. Like, I don't know if that can actually look good if you're just using fake blood as opposed to just like throwing in a fuck ton of CGI blood. You know what I mean?
You should have both.
Honestly, I wanted to kind of look corny.
That aren't great.
Like, well, to look corny.
I think they were trying to make it look corny.
Like, you know, ham-fist it up a little bit more.
It's supposed to be funny, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
they definitely made the blood look. I think they must have thought, we're gonna do for CGI blood what Sam Raimi did for actual fake blood.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But they didn't try and make it look real, which I guess I appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't. It didn't really look like he was actually shitting blood.
But it was just so ridiculous, so over the top.
Can you explain that scene?
Yeah. So there's at one point towards the end of the movie, there's just another epic fight with the drug dealer family and the protagonist, and the drug dealer family being Shoret Agdashlu as like the crime boss mom, and then her bratty son played by Ben Schwartz, which is a perfect casting
a legend
for that fucking role.
John Ralphio.
Yes. And he of course has become Dracula's replacement for Renfield, who's final goodness.
Spoilers.
Right.
So if
you think that there aren't spoilers ahead in a movie podcast about. We just saw the
don't
movie.
give
Let's
a
talk
shit
about it.
about this.
Like, what are you
Who's
talking
watching
about?
this?
Yeah,
Shit.
like, this is, there will definitely be spoilers, and I think you'll be okay. You'll be okay. But anyway, at one point, Ben Schwartz's character gets the shit kicked out of him.
Literally.
Literally, the shit kicked out of him. He gets kicked so hard that basically in the shot, it zooms in to show what is like an X-ray vision of his sternum getting kicked, the bones breaking, and then all of a sudden you see throw up start to come out, both his mouth and his buttocks.
This was the first real laugh of the movie for me.
And then it goes away
I
from the
laughed.
X-ray vision to
I know, you did laugh.
to Ben Schwartz's character flying in the air and just vomiting and shitting blood at the same time. And there is so much of it. There is so much of it.
CGI blood.
Which I was like, oh, that's kind of like a weird. That has to be some sort of nod to Mortal Kombat's fucking X-ray moves, you know. Which I was because they're also extremely. Over
I
the
didn't
top,
know about
which
that,
is-
and I thought that was the most creative and best part of any of the action scenes. And now that I realize it came from Mortal Kombat, I'm like, of course it did.
Well, that's the first thing I thought of, and like those over
I
the
did
last
not know
couple
that.
of games have become like really popular, like a really popular aspect, you know,
The
of the
X-ray
game.
break of every bone in your body breaking.
Yeah,
is that one?
Or it's like maybe someone's X-ray is like them like snapping someone's neck and then like plunging a dagger through their skull. So you see their neck break and their skull shatter with blood splattering everywhere. You know, like it's pretty dope. And I also appreciated Homeboy shitting blood. You know, because again, I appreciate that sort
he's
of
a Mortal
stuff.
Kombat expert.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh,
We should
okay.
definitely do an episode about both the Mortal Kombat movies because I haven't seen either of them.
I mean, you don't have to sell me on that. I'm in, man.
So
But,
No,
yeah,
I
that's
laugh.
part of the movie comes from Mortal Kombat.
Like, I don't
So-
usually laugh at gory things. I don't find them funny, but this made it so stupid that it was funny.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but how can you not? She doesn't. I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, sir.
You don't.
sir.
You don't find Evil Dead 2.
I mean,
You hate that shit.
I don't hate it. I tolerate it. I think parts of it are funny, like, because it's silly, and don't they use, like, weird... They use props.
What?
Yeah, it's...
In the OG Evil Dead?
yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah, it's
use,
a lot-
they
it's
use
like-
like contacts and makeup,
I
and,
think
Yeah.
that stuff's cool.
and the blood
I
is
think
ridiculous.
when the
though.
characters shout, like, their last words before they die, that part's funny. Like, curse you!
But I tried to show you the new show, and you're like, no, I don't like this.
Oh, Ash versus Evil Dead.
As for Evil Dead,
I don't
yeah.
like gore just for gore's sake.
It's not just for gore's sake; it's for comedy's sake, and there's a genuine difference, by the way.
I don't know. I also recently saw something very gory, so it's been a weird to juxtapose that with comedy.
Yes, I'm actually smoking a Lucky for my
Hey.
deceased cat, Lucky, who is unfortunately had what happened to Ben Schwartz happened to her right
my God.
before my very eyes.
R.I.P. Lucky, for real. She's
really
a
sad.
sweetie. She got Ben Schwartz.
But at the same time, that's
Damn.
It's just, you know,
why
almost,
you go to a comedy. What are you talking
I
about?
almost,
Damn.
What
I
makes
almost-
it better?
I'm saying the gore has new meaning for me.
I was
Yeah.
like, you know, I honestly
Contextualize
thought
with
about
comedy.
that early in the movie. I was like, this is going to be a super
Oh,
gory movie for these
dude.
guys after what they, like
Yeah.
just a couple days after, you know, which,
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
I cried for 2 days already.
You have a
man.
lighter?
I'm ready to laugh.
for,
Yes,
for,
I do have a lighter.
For sure, man.
Oh, she needs her co-smoke. But yeah, like, fucking, it was... Okay.
If you know the novel of Dracula, then you I don't know, you
The
get
only
the
clever
gist
reference
of,
was whether he could enter. I'm so glad they didn't, like, nail that one on the head. Like, just so you know,
They
You
they
have
snuck
to.
it in
Yeah,
there.
But you know
they
what?
just did it, and it expected you to know it because you're not a fucking idiot.
Honestly, I
Which
will
I
say this
appreciated
though.
that.
Yeah.
But did anyone notice this? In that scene,
Which scene?
Nick, in the scene where he walks into the meeting, but they have to invite him in first.
Yeah.
And the door swings
He
open.
puts his foot
and
through.
His toes actually break the sill of the door. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's a weird thing to zoom in on because technically, right, like he would be able to walk up to
to
the sill of the
barrier,
door,
yeah.
but not cross it. And I was like, wait, did they just fuck this up? Or like
No,
did they
I
just
had the
watch
same
it?
thought actually, yes.
Or
the guy
is this
said, "Come on in."
But no, before he says come on in, his foot is over the crease of the door. Just
Right.
like slightly. It's like just his toes. And I'm like, but he'd have to be all the way. Right? Like no
you know
part
they
of
probably
it.
have a take where he just even did they intentionally do that?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
And like
I actually did have I had the same thought where as you.
I just thought that he said it at the same time that he came in. So
Yeah, I think that's how they probably meant it.
okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair
But
enough.
like,
yeah.
that I think it would have been cooler to. That's the thing, dude. The editing was not on point.
There you
I
go. It goes
honestly
back to
though
that.
I respect a low budget film. Like we need more.
This was not low budget.
I mean, it looked low
It's
budget.
probably cost like $40 to $60 million.
Jeez.
I
Can you look
also
it up?
I'm recording.
what is
Can
it?
you look
We're
it
all
up?
recording.
Oh yeah, budget. I also wondered, do we know? Does Nick Cage still party?
Of course he
Dude
still
is
parties.
freaking hilarious.
Like I didn't think he was sober, but I was like,
The parts
my
that
man
I
has to be fucking railing fucking lines, getting gacked out in his like Las Vegas penthouse if he's doing a movie.
Maybe
like
he
this.
doesn't.
he's just that good.
No, his whole thing is he likes to go gonzo, right?
Oh, yeah.
and so I
100%.
think if the second someone offered him
65 million.
yeah,
What's
pretty close.
Gonzo?
Gonzo, like Hunter S. Thompson, wild, just in your face, goofy. Think about Gonzo from the Muppets, right? Yeah, his thing is he likes to be out of control and he likes to do things to the maximum. He literally said, like, my method in some interview is something to the effect of, I just try and do everything at 200%.
He's freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
The parts that I laughed the most during this film were just his face,
Oh,
his facial
So,
expressions.
The primary critique I have with this film, and I think
And
this
his
comes down to
delivery.
the director, by the way, is they did not. Nick Cage was not enough of Nick Cage in this film.
well, do you think that, or was he just not in it as much as you thought? Because not
It's
that he
even
wasn't
that,
in
it's
it
when
a lot,
he was in it.
but there were like certain scenes or certain
Like
points.
he was
in
in
the
it the
movie where-
perfect amount.
he
okay.
had different
In terms of screen
personalities.
time.
Like
No, well, for one, I think he was intentionally just doing 5 accents at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
But I think that
Kept
the
you on your
director should have
toes.
been like, okay, Nick, that's intellectually funny, but it's not actually funny. What's funnier is having Nick Cage talk like Dracula
I
the
don't know.
entire time.
no, I
Are you
liked.
fucking kidding? No, dude,
I liked when
the
the
entire
little-
time he should have wanted to suck your blood. Having Nick Cage do that at 200% the entire time would have been hysterical.
Yeah, but he showed like
Missed
all
opportunity
all
from the
sorts of
director
different
there.
facets of Nick Cage. Like
I'd say, yeah, I still thought he was pretty Nick Cage, but you just want more ham fist. You want Nick Cage even more over the
Yes,
top.
way more.
You want the no, not the bees. Not
Yes,
the bees.
this is
like
Nick Cage's
that scene
Dracula.
specifically.
Exactly.
That should be your.
That
fucking-
should be the levels of this entire movie. 100%. Because, like, why else are you even? Why bother?
Yeah, yeah.
he's funny, dude.
I thought he was.
funny.
I thought he was really
But
funny.
he actually, I thought Ben Schwartz was the funniest person in the
Ben
movie.
Schwartz is funny.
He just is, man.
That's the perfect
Yeah.
The
character
only
for Ben Schwartz.
moments that I thought
Perfect
he was
casting.
failed were either moments that must have either been improvised or poorly written. Because
Who Schwartz or
yeah, there's
Okay.
a lot of like, fuck, like just like, oh my god, dude, what happened to like at least the Schwarzenegger movies were like, we're so stupid. Here's a line that acknowledges that we know we're stupid. Now it's just like apparently people are stupid, so we just say fuck because there's no need for wit.
But isn't he sort of like
He's dumb.
he's
His character
doesn't he
is
play
dumb.
that character a lot? Just some sort of like
but you
basic,
can still have him say something that is witty from a writing
just like
perspective.
an airhead.
He said some
showing
witty.
how dumb he is.
He did.
No, most of it was his delivery. I'm telling you, like his delivery.
I feel like there was
It's
a
just
line in
incredible.
It was
there
him.
about
I felt like it was him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's what I would expect from.
I think
Ben
they let him
Schwartz.
improvise, is my guess. And he's like, "Well, I'm going to play a punk." But that's my biggest problem with like the sort of Judd Apatow, the post Apatow era of comedy, is, dude, you used to have to like write a script
Yeah, but
that
some-
was funny from A to Z.
Yeah, but
and
if
not
it's
rely
funny,
on your
if-
casting.
if it's
and then
funny-
the casting, if it was perfect, brought that script to life.
Yeah.
This script was not that good.
Yeah. No, I mean, Yeah, I'm not gonna argue
The casting was good though.
The casting is perfect.
The casting was very good.
It was not clever writing though.
I thought
like the
Awkwafina
structure
was
from
good.
Robert what is it? Kirkland?
Kirkman, yeah.
Kirkman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Cosco.
Robert
Robbie Cosco. He the storyline
Yeah, Robert Kirkman. Uh-huh.
that he drew out was great. The guy they had write it was not a particularly clever writer, or maybe he was, and maybe he's sitting there screaming like, "Why'd you let these motherfuckers improvise?" Like,
holy
Or
shit!
it was the
Robert
edit.
Kirkman is from Richmond, Kentucky.
Nice.
That's just up the road from Somerset. That's hilarious.
There was someone named Hammond in the credits.
Oh God,
Andy Hammond.
that's a little too weird. That might be my people. That legit might be my people. And then wait, who's the guy who wrote it? That's what I was, Ryan Ridley. What the fuck else?
yeah,
has
what has he
done?
written?
He did the screenplay. Well, he's apparently a writer on Rick and Morty.
This is probably his first.
And then
screenplay
The Wastelander, and then our Footloose remake. Our Footloose.
Yeah, so he's a Rick and Morty writer who got his foot in the door through Rick and Morty, and now he's got this movie. And you know what? Like I wouldn't say it's like, if I was an executive,
Did one episode of Invincible. I don't know what that show is. But...
I would have read this script and I would have then handed it to someone who's a little bit more clever, and been like, "Hey, punch this up."
Yeah, I mean they yeah.
Because like, dude, I'm sorry, like, there are movies that, like, this movie wants to be Naked Gun, right? But you have to actually like have a little bit of a method, right, of intention to each scene from the get-go to be Naked Gun. Like, because everything in Naked Gun is the writing. It's just a million jokes, and they're not always like spoken, and it's not only coming from the
That's
casting
true.
is just perfect. And so like,
They're trying to do that with Dracula, with vampire.
yeah, but they're failing because
in a
they're
modern
not,
world.
because they're allowing either too much improvisation, or the screenplay wasn't that good. And that's
I
the
mean,
issue with the too much improvisation.
It
is you
wasn't
never
all
know.
funny all the time
You don't
because
have to
there was melodrama.
Huh?
It wasn't all funny all the time because there was
Melodrama was
drama.
kind of trite.
It was like her dad was a police officer.
I mean, you have to give them a plot, and that's fine.
Her
but, like,
dad got killed, and her sister
I
hates
thought
her.
Awkwafina. Now that I know it was Awkwafina, I didn't know who. I was like, "Who is this chick?"
I
Why
thought
do
she
why
was
does look
good.
Familiar? She was good. I think that they must have been like, okay, well, Awkwafina says like, "Yo, you dumbass punk."
She's funny.
She must say that shit exactly the way they had her say it. That must just be her playing herself, huh?
Au revoir, bitch.
Yeah.
It seemed like that. Yeah,
Like,
it was
that
definitely
wasn't
sort of her.
dude.
shtick.
Once again, like, Au revoir, bitch was like one of the few. Like, that was like the best one. There was shit though that like, man, in the beginning where it's just like, fuck you. It's just like, once again, dude, like, and the other guys.
So you thought it was you
this
thought it was
well
just
written,
like,
but now it's
you
not.
just
I thought
you know,
she was solid.
lowest common denominator, just crass.
It was it was crass without wit, and
crass without wit.
yeah, and that's.
I don't know.
So that's a knock. So that's definitely a knock for you. We're taking it.
Huge
we're
knock
taking
for
it
me.
down. Yeah.
I think it told a nice story.
I like the story. That's my point. Is it's the execution of the story. The story is great. The story is why I don't dislike the movie. I'm not saying it's like the worst movie I've ever seen. I am saying the screenplay, as presented as transposed from the film, is not impressive at all.
I guess for me, the screenplay as it is, like, I know with the movie like that, I'm not expecting that screenplay to be that great. Like, I'm not expecting it to be like a Sin City
Like
sort
the-
of thing,
the
which would be
screenplay for,
fucking
like,
dope.
Evil Dead is great though.
Yeah, something with this, it's with Nick Cage, it's like, okay, I have a feeling I know what I'm going into. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be totally over the top. I mean, it's fucking graphic. I thought it was going to be graphic, but like, holy shit, that was impressively graphic.
I like
They're
that graphic for sure.
they're definitely like leaning into the fucking horror comedy, black comedy sort of thing.
They're making all the right nods.
And so the fact that, like, yes, the screenplay is not the most clever. I think there was a lot of improvisation. Basically, just the people who were cast as the characters in the movie, just essentially playing themselves, making the character themselves. You know, Ben Schwartz, I think, is pretty much Ben Schwartz. as an entitled drug dealer's son. Awkwafina is Awkwafina as a cop.
The only one who isn't is Nicholas Hoult, who I just realized because of that, he's Kmart Leo DiCaprio.
Oh, weird. He's Wish DiCaprio. He's the blue light special.
Right.
Blue light,
yeah.
He's
because like
the blue light special of Leo.
The one thing I always will give Leo is that he has this. I wouldn't even say he's as charming as Paul Newman. He's not as good an actor, but it's like that Paul Newman, Robert Redford style. You can just put this guy in pretty much any role as a hero, and he'll make it work, right? So like you watch Inception, and like Leo's the perfect guy for that because he's got that like Clooney, Brad Pitt level movie. He's a movie star.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think Nicholas Hoult has that.
No, he definitely doesn't.
So he's just like Wish DiCaprio.
He's the Wish DiCaprio.
You know, he's probably a better actor than DiCaprio in technical sense, but like
Definitely.
you know, that's not saying much.
I thought his acting was great. I thought the acting all around.
Yeah,
was
no,
really great.
I thought the
His acting was good. It's just like, why is this guy a star? He didn't. He works for the film, but
okay.
like,
So what else has he?
He was. What was that movie? I know
been in?
exactly why he was in it. It's because he was in fucking that movie where he's a vampire who's in love with a chick, or a zombie who's in love with a chick.
Wait, is he in?
He's a zombie, and it's a romantic comedy. I think it's like Vanessa Hudgens or some shit potentially. Who was it with?
What? What's his name?
Nicholas Hoult.
He was in X-Men. He was in Kill Your Friends. Oh, he was in Mad Max. He was the main blood boy in Mad Max Fury Road. Okay.
Yeah, he's Beast in X-Men.
Okay.
Jack the Giant Slayer.
Yeah.
Terrible. Warm Bodies. That's the one.
Okay, Warm Bodies.
He was in Warm Bodies, and it's like, dude, when you have a really good agent, you can get that X-Men role, and now it's like, well, he's a movie star, so now you're gonna get the role. But it's like, is he really a movie star, or is X-Men the movie star?
Well, I mean, in that situation, X-Men is the. Damn, he's tall.
Like Ben Schwartz was amazing. Shirag Dishlu was great. I thought Awkwafina was good.
I thought
Nicholas Hoult was good, but not great.
I thought the performances were good. Before we delve too quickly into the performances, I think okay, for this movie, if you like, or if you're entertained by movies like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, or Abraham Lincoln.
I never saw that. I love Abraham Lincoln. That's a great movie.
Vampire Hunter. Killer? Yeah, Vampire Killer.
Or maybe it is Hunter, but yeah.
You're gonna dig this. I think it's that sort of vibe. That's what I kept thinking of, but even more graphic and. But yeah, to the performances.
That's the thing. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter or Killer, whichever it is so insanely ridiculous in a similar way, but the screenplay doesn't flinch. You know what I mean? Like the screenplay, there's no improv in that movie. It's a funny screenplay.
So to that point,
by the way, I like that movie. Most people hate that.
No, I do. Ann and I, we saw that. We very
hilarious.
much enjoyed it. Ann loves Pride and Prejudice, so when Pride and Prejudice and Zombies came out, she was like, we have to watch this. And so to kind of what you were just saying there with the screenplays, the screenplay of that, it is just Pride and Prejudice with zombies thrown in. It's like such a hilarious hack sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we can do this.
It's one joke.
That's it. So it is Pride and Prejudice to a fucking T, but with zombies thrown in there.
What are the zombies doing?
They're basically just taking over London. London is now basically just moated off. There's just this giant moat around London, that's, and if you cross the bridge, you're in zombie fucking territory. It's absurd, Do
the zombies invade the wedding or anything? Do they disrupt the
plot? I
mean,
mayhem certainly ensues.
I wasn't sure if the servants were zombies.
It's towards the end, the zombie shit just really takes over. But building up to that final, it is fucking Pride and Prejudice,
interesting.
Certain scenes, you know what I mean? The same sort of trajectory.
Yeah.
Mr. Darcy, the love interest.
I heard that when he wrote the book, it was literally he just took the book.
Yeah.
As it was, and then he just pasted in these zombie scenes and references into the dialogue and
full stop. That's it.
Yeah, dude, that's hilarious. I mean, that's the thing is this one, it kind of treaded the line too much. I like to, it wanted to be a little bit too David Fincher, but a little bit too fucking hack Raimi sort of shit. And Raimi's not a hack, but like he's hacking it up.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Like you said, I mean the Kyle Raimi, that character, that's an obvious nod.
But like there's the cinematographer must love some David Fincher. Because it looks like David Fincher, and I hate David Fincher. So there's that. He's made a couple good movies, but like
I really liked.
I just don't like how they look a lot of the time. It's just like too like try hard, you know, like you're trying too hard, man.
Was it Mindhunters on Netflix? Man, I really liked
that was a good show.
one.
Yeah,
yeah. I really wish they wouldn't have canceled that episode.
As I get older, my hatred diminishes.
But no, he like
with most things.
Clearly, that guy had
when
a hard
I was a kid,
on.
I didn't know shit. I really.
Clearly, that guy had a hard on for David Fincher. Which like
the cinematographer, I think.
Because it's, which almost makes the movie sort of like bipolar, in a manner, because like certain parts of the movie, like the set or the wardrobe, it's so colorful.
Yeah, there's like so many like had to be referencing Fight Club with the lighting in that room, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about that until you brought up Fincher, but there has to be something to that. There has to be.
It seems to be.
Were they spoofing it? Is that what it was supposed to be?
I think they just might be, paying homage slightly, like,
yeah.
Or it's a nice idea to like have as like a backbone to your story, to have your character have a support group for some weakness, right? That he has to realize he has. It's a nice. So it could be just a pal and a nod or something, but from the writer because it's more on the writing there. But the point is like maybe the writer didn't mean it. The cinematographer for sure was like, this is my Fight Club. And it's just like, man, you don't need dramatic lighting in this room. It would be so much funnier if you just made it look like an actual gym looks.
I mean, I'm really curious like how much cocaine was done on the set of this movie. Like in the director's office, in the meetings, in the production meetings. I want to know how much coke was done throughout the process, because I do kind of like the movie and like what it's trying to say, the screenplay, the lighting, like it very much seems like almost sort of like bipolar or manic in the sense where it's just like,
but it's not
we're
enough
gonna do
of a train
fucking
wreck.
everything and we're gonna do it now. But no,
it should have had more shit like Ben Schwartz snorting a centipede.
Dude, that's
the best joke.
That was awesome.
The writer crushed it because he had to have written the screenplay. He snorts a centipede.
Yeah, he just like right up, and you're just
hilarious.
like, whoa.
He's a cokehead.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know, dude. I thought that. What else did the director do?
That's a good question. I don't think we looked at that. Man, yeah, I
Craig
can't
something or whatever.
I can't
Okay.
underscore enough how much I liked Nicolas Cage's Dracula. I did appreciate it.
He's
like
so
very
good.
much.
I think
director Chris McKay. Chris McKay. Okay.
What else has he done?
We have the Tomorrow. Oh,
Is this his director?
he did the Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt, which I swear to God was so terrible. I like Chris Pratt, but man, I thought that movie was really bad. He did the Lego Batman movie.
Oh.
He did a bunch of episodes of Robot Chicken. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so it wasn't enough.
He did Robot Chicken Star Wars 3.
It wasn't Robot Chicken enough. It wasn't. It could have been a next level of ridiculous that it didn't ultimately achieve. And it's like, dude, if you're gonna
the
do
gore
it,
achieved that, but the rest of it didn't. Right?
yeah, the
You know, like
performances
they
were
achieved the gore.
waiting for it in the screenplay, in the directing, but the director with the screenplay he had what he should. I mean, and look, it's easy for me to say this sitting here in a fucking car that I couldn't pay for in cash because I'm not a film director. But fucking that said, it's like, dude, you could have like been like, okay, Nick Cage, I get that you're like already just giving me so much more than any actor would ever think to do here. That said, I'd still need more out of you. And I feel like instead he was like, that's great, Nick, keep doing what you're doing. And it's like no
notes. No notes are involved.
Because like, dude,
the
best way to use Nick Cage is to like really just like know. You have to play him like an instrument, right? Like, when are the moments where the ultimate,
the buttons.
where you want to be, oh, not the bees, right?
Right.
And you need to like execute that really well, or you're kind of wasting his talent. Right? Like if you
No,
look
for
at
sure.
any,
You need that shamanistic aspect of Nick Cage where you're like,
Right.
yo, what do you do? Like, what plane are you
That's
on
what
right now, dude? You know?
well, dude, the what is it? Leaving. He won his Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
Like when he's just like sitting in the bathtub, just like, ah! Right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah.
This guy, like, he won an Oscar doing that.
Yep.
Right? Like, he's just like, he's, he likes Brando, obviously. He likes Pacino, but he also
He
knows.
definitely does, yes.
He knows, like, he's never gonna be them. So, I might as well just, like, be my own unique thing.
His own version of that. What he views that
It's
to
like,
be.
he's himself, and if you see him as for what he is, he's great in everything and anything. So it's like, of course he was good, but dude, it wasn't great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and we touched on that aspect of Nick Cage and the unbearable weight
Of massive talent.
of massive talent. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did appreciate him as Dracula. I liked him, but I do think like the gore was super over the top in the movie, and I thought it was funny. The rest of the
What do you
movie in
think of the action
comparison
scenes?
was like, I mean, honestly, because okay, so I think like especially when you're doing fights, if you actually want to shoot a really good fight scene, and you have the raid with Joe Taslim, obviously a vastly different movie, but this is a good example of it.
Wait, the Raid?
The raid,
Like
yeah.
that awesome fucking Asian movie?
Joe Taslim, who plays Sub-Zero. The guy is an incredible martial artist. But typically, I think when shooting a fight scene, my point is like the less cuts, the better. The less editing, the better. But that typically means you have to have.
No, I don't care.
actors.
I don't actually care how many cuts you have.
Yeah,
In that,
they just need to be like in a
you just
rhythm.
need to do it
you know.
right.
Fair enough.
Right? Like I did, like in Born
Yeah.
Supremacy,
Yeah.
or Identity, or Ultimatum, or all three. You know,
Right.
Then it's like, okay, cool. That's your style. Make the movie jittery.
Yeah.
So like you
yeah.
did a good job.
Yeah.
Right, but now I feel like, dude, they'll shake the shit in post, and I think that started with the Bourne movies. But like, it's just like, dude,
The editing
if you
is
knew
not
how
good
to,
in
a lot
this.
of times they just cover up like that you don't know how to choreograph a scene. Great, like I thought the one in the motel or the apartment building
Uh huh.
was great. That was the best action scene. But then a lot of the other ones, they were like fun moments, but like it was just like, dude, this choreography isn't really there, and you're cutting too fast.
Yeah. And yeah.
And I can't tell what's happening.
The pacing is off in the scene.
Like I
Because-
literally asked you. I was like, "What did he cut his arms off with?" Like I couldn't even.
Right.
Because if you look away for a second, it's like, at least Zack Snyder, when he's doing this crazy, ridiculous shit, he knows to like, okay, zoom in on it and like slow mo it, or something.
Yeah.
Just really, or like the Kingsman movies will do that. Like if,
Yeah. Also, yeah. Good example of that.
but once again, that's all based around choreography in both cases. Whereas this
Right.
one, I thought the choreography it was all right, but it wasn't good enough for me to know what the fuck is going on.
And honestly, man, I guess like I can't imagine. Well, I mean, Nicholas Hoult, he did X-Men.
And this is when I wasn't. I got higher as the movie went on because I ate an edible. And I started hitting my vape pen because I'm like, I'm not high enough. This movie's like,
Right,
And
we
you
just-
shouldn't have to get more high to enjoy a movie.
We just need further lift off from where we're at now.
Like I should love it sober or high, right? Like the high is completely independent.
It should enhance it, right? It shouldn't
It
necessarily.
enhances my end of it,
Yeah, it shouldn't.
not my ability to enjoy it.
Dependent. Yeah, I mean, overall, what else we want to...
I'm trying to think what else there is to talk about.
I'm
in it.
just learning about Nicolas Cage's past 3 wives,
Oh.
how
Oh,
they're
shit.
all Asian, and how his current wife is 5 years younger than his oldest child.
Good for him. He's
Hey,
rocking
he
his
definitely strikes me as the type of guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna get a
He's
young
into
baby.
young Asians.
I'm wearing my snake skin jackets, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
get my
dude.
23-year-old.
He's the man. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm gonna go do
He's
a
been
bunch of
bankrupt, like,
coke in
twice.
my penthouse. Yeah.
I don't know if he does. I think he might not have done enough coke on
He
the set.
definitely did at one point.
Oh, I'm sure.
There you go. I mean, look at it.
That's the current one.
He loves his snake skin, man.
Who cares?
My man loves his snake skin.
Just commenting.
Yeah, dude, if they make you a million snakeskin jackets because you're in Wild at Heart, you're gonna wear them.
Exactly. That's
Every snakeskin jacket maker on the planet is obviously sending
just like,
free
yo,
jackets.
this is Sailor Ripley right here, dude.
Yeah.
You are Sailor Ripley. Here you go.
Oh, that's right. That's his name.
That's his name. That's
Right.
where, you know.
That's where the band name comes
Yeah.
from. I always forget that.
Yep.
Dude, fucking such a dumb name. Oh my god. See, like, once again, that's a movie that knew how to use Nick Cage. When he's just like jumping out of the car doing karate kicks.
It's David Lynch's Wizard of Oz with Nick Cage, man.
Yeah.
It's great. Oh,
And-
I fucking love that movie.
So, like,
it's
this
so hard
one-
to find too.
That's the real curse. Ironically, similar to the movie, right? Renfield's curse. He gets great power, but he's a slave. And when you use great actors, you're drawing comparisons to their past performances and their past films. And part of what makes them great actors is really that they're in great films, right?
Yep.
So, unfortunately, that's all at the front of my mind, plus the weird bug stuff. So, like, I wasn't inclined to like it from the get-go, if that makes sense. I gotta admit a bias there. But also, like, it didn't make me laugh for the first hour.
I definitely laughed, man. I was laughing a fair
Definitely
amount
laughed.
a fair amount
I
throughout the
did.
movie. But I mean, you know, ultimately, I think this is it's entertaining. I will say it's entertaining in my opinion, but I think it's middle of the road. You know, I think it's just. I don't think it's awful. It's certainly not great. It's pretty much what I expected Renfield to be. I'd say,
It was,
you know.
here's what I'd say. I'd say it was the floor of my expectation.
It
It wasn't worse than I thought it would be.
Right.
Right? It was about, you know,
It's not a waste of time.
no,
No,
I mean,
by no means, you know.
but it wasn't like transcendent of,
No.
you know, of the medium or anything. So what's your final assessment and then rating out of 5?
Okay,
Stars.
final assessment. I think, like I said earlier, I think if you're into Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, you know, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, if you're into stuff that's like very campy and over the top gory, I think you will like this movie. It is ridiculous. If you're a fan of Nick Cage, I think you'll like this movie. You know, it's Nick Cage as Dracula, man. Yeah, all right. I'll pay to see that. Out of 5 stars, I would give it right down the middle. I'll go 2.5 stars. I'll go 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars?
2.5 stars. Yeah.
Okay. That's lower than I thought you were going to give it, actually. And then,
Because I don't think it's. I mean, I can't say that it's a good movie.
right.
You know, like, yeah. So there is that aspect of it where it's like,
There's
you know,
what is 3 stars to you?
Okay. 3 stars to me.
Like 5 stars is one of the best movies. It's about as good as the movie could have been.
Okay, bringing it back. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just tie it up. Rather, I think it might be a little lower than this, but 3 stars to me is probably about to where like the Mortal Kombat remake sits. Like it's
Okay.
like it's not a great movie in the sense of like what a great film is,
But it does the job.
but it does the job. It's what it's supposed to be. Honestly, the editing in that movie is as well as very fucking terrible. But I won't go on that tangent. But yeah, man, I think that's, you know, it's like, okay, cool. This is entertaining. It's definitely not a waste of time, but, you know, this is, I think I've said this before, okay, obviously this is not Citizen Kane,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I'm,
So you give it 2.5.
I'll give it-
considering.
I'll give it 2.5.
Okay. Sorry, where did I put my lighter? You have one? Yeah. How do I always? You always lose the lighter, dude. It's always you. I always lose the lighter.
There we go.
Oh, I gave it to Jasmin. That's right.
Here.
I got Will's now.
There you go.
Thanks. But so, 2.5, considering that. So you think that it almost did the job,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it didn't really.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't quite scratch the itch. but I don't think it was bad, you know, and I appreciate it, you know.
Jasmine, what's your final rating?
I'll give it a 3.4.
Good.
For what reason?
I thought it was entertaining. The acting was good. The makeup and stuff was good. I liked the message that it had for the world, which is stand up for yourself and chop your demons into tiny little pieces.
Yeah, I will say that was my favorite part of the movie, was the moral of it, other than the bug shit, which that's just political. If you don't know, look it up and say what you will. But the moral of don't be a victim, you know, it's one of those things where, like, sometimes when you're watching, I'll admit, I watch a show like Bill Maher's show, right? And sometimes I think he just says, like, these shibboleths in order to get people to listen to the other point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, maybe it's just like that's a compromise we had to make in order to get the other things through. Maybe I'm overthinking that, but I do like the moral of it. And I thought it, and, you know, don't give in. Because the thing is, dude, I don't know if I would, given the choice Awkwafina's offered, I'm just like, well, I mean, with Dracula, I'd for sure try and kill Dracula because he's evil. Try, but given the choice she's offered from Shohre Agdishlu, I think that I don't know. I'd be like, Jesus Christ. Like, I have no idea if I'd really just be like, I'd rather die than, like, get a promotion and find some other way to fucking beat you later.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Even,
Absolutely.
like, you can justify it to yourself.
I'm going to play the long game here.
Yeah, I would just be like, staying alive is priority number one.
Right.
Faux show. And they have made this choice very clear to me.
Yeah.
Right? I would probably cave in that scenario. Maybe that makes me an asshole. I'd probably justify it to myself that I was going to do the right thing eventually. And who knows? Because once you smoke the devil's lettuce, it's a downhill path.
There's no turning back from there.
So, yeah, I don't know. But, so I appreciate saying, hey, don't give in to that.
I very much like that as well. Yes.
That said, dude, the fucking editing, there were 3 editors, and maybe that's why it was so chaotic, because they probably all just were given different scenes. And it's like, dude,
that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Well, look, Star Wars, the original Star Wars, was edited by technically 3 people, but that's because they fired the first one, and they hired 2 because they were running low on time. Richard Chew and some other guy. And
okay.
they just took A-B'd the scenes. But, like, that gives it a rhythm. They really worked well together, and it was very consistent. I don't even think it was that the editing... Actually, it was inconsistent between the action scenes. I wonder if each editor took a different action scene.
Maybe they did.
Because there's about 3 big action scenes. Yeah, the editing wasn't good. Cinematography was just, like, competent, but nothing about it was particularly creative.
Right.
Like, really, you're in a movie with Nick Cage as Dracula, you're not going to use more wide-angle lenses or something? Like, at the very least, like, get some Danny DeVito, Matilda action going on at some point in this movie. Like, do something. You're referencing Raimi, who just threw, because he had no money, he threw every lens he could at the situation. Like, there's a scene in Evil Dead where all they're doing is just changing lenses and...
just gotta be creative at that point.
Yeah,
right?
just like, alright, well, that'll be trippy and weird. Like, and that's the thing is, dude, when you get a budget, the sort of budget that allows you to get Nick Cage, unfortunately, in a movie like this, you might have too much freedom, and sometimes, you know, there's constraints that force you to be creative.
Right. Too many options.
So I thought the directing was like, once again, I wouldn't say anyone like failed the test, right? Like, no, you're not like, it's not like a losing team necessarily. It's like a 500 baseball team.
Right.
Just like, all right. I mean, your manager probably won't lose his job unless it just keeps going that way.
Right.
Like, you know, first season 500. All right, he didn't suck. He's not getting fucking canned.
Okay. Yeah.
But like, did he impress me with his directing skill once? No. And like Bullet Train, which we talked about in the last one,
We did.
I think just ran. Fucking dude, Bullet Train was. There were points where I was just like, holy shit, who? I looked it up, like, who's directing this? And it's like, oh, it's the guy who did, like, John Wick and John Wick 2.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I haven't seen those movies, but apparently I should see them.
Apparently
Because
John Wick 4 is supposed to be really fucking good.
I heard it was terrible.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Oh, fuck.
Because he doesn't even, like, do the thing that he promised to do at the end of the third movie, which is, like, take down the syndicate. That's the criticism I heard.
Oh, okay.
Like, the plot has nothing to do with that.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's like a weird side plot that he just gets. It's like, we're getting ready for 5, huh?
Oh, okay.
Or something.
Oh, okay.
We just have to stall for a movie.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Look, we'll eventually get back to this, but it's not going to happen on this film.
But I think he dies, so like it's like, okay, well, you have to make a 5th one though, because you didn't address the. Anyway, I haven't seen any of it. That's just what I heard.
Okay.
But whatever that guy's name is, now I'm blanking. He really had a lot of points with like just the acting, the writing, and the pacing. Whereas like, oh, this guy is he knows how to make a good movie. Like the action is secondary, right? But he does really know how to do a good action scene too. But
Chad Stahelski.
no, it's the other guy who like shadow directed it.
Oh shit! I ain't even know about that.
Who cares? But like, he directed Bullet Train.
David
Leitch.
Ah, yes, David Leitch. Okay.
Of course, I remember right before. That's always how it goes. Fucking
yeah, uncredited. Oof. Damn.
But he like really knew how to like. There's this Tarantino moments. He throws Michael Shannon in at the end. Where you're just like, that's like the perfect guy to throw in. Like, even because he's willing to be more Nick Cage than Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Is right at this point, I think, in his career. Because like Michael Shannon, just like when he goes 100%. Like, did you watch that movie with us?
Wait.
My son, what have you done? Werner Herzog, produced by David Lynch.
No.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think I watched that.
You should have been there. Maybe then everyone else would have liked it, because I was the only person liking it.
I would have. Yeah, I would have actually liked to watch that with you guys.
It's
Yeah.
so funny, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it fucking literally. Michael Shannon just starts screaming in Chloe Sevigny's face at one point. So what? So what?
No, we did watch that. I'm sorry, I was there. I was really.
So what?
I actually enjoyed that. Yeah, I enjoyed that movie.
Like, fucking. Dude, that's like the level of intensity you need. But like, I don't think you can, and you only get that when a good director is using these actors right, like in Bullet Train or in that movie. In this one, I don't think this director brought the best out of any of his actors. Like even Ben Schwartz, I've seen him be funnier. Right? Like if you watch House of Lies, he's hysterical.
Yeah, he's great in that.
So it's like, all that said, I had a good time. It wasn't like a total bomb or anything. I hope it makes money and that they keep trying to make movies like it. So, my scale, I think, is a little different than yours. I was gonna give it like, man, 2.5 might be right, because it's just like, I was gonna give it 3 stars, but the more I think about how much I don't like certain things of it, and how like there wasn't really anything redeeming to like compensate for that. Like there was no one moment that was so spectacular. You're like, I'll forgive the other ones.
Okay, yeah.
Like the best part apparently was copped from Mortal fucking Kombat. So like, man, I might just give it 2 stars then. But like, I wanted to. I'll give it 2.5, because like again, it's not a movie you shouldn't see.
I think you'll have a good time.
To me, yeah, 2 stars doesn't. 2 stars means an average movie.
Yeah.
So that said, it's like 2.5. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it. I'm oscillating between those two, because like, 1 star is bad, 0 stars is like fuck this. You know. Anyway, what'd you give it? You gave it 3.
Yeah.
So we got a 2.5, a 3, and a 2.5. So we're averaging at 2.83.
About that.
Who knows? Well, in that case, let's GTFO, boys.
Signing off.
Oh wait, I should talk to
Until next time.
I actually can't drive yet because I